Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Legends of Sport podcast and another great episode. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. This week's episode is another from the series we recorded at the 2024 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame festivities. We have two Hall of Famers and two of the best to ever play women's basketball. In fact, two of the best to ever play basketball in general, Lisa Leslie and Tina Thompson. Lisa was a presenter for Michael Cooper's Enshrinement, and Tina presented for Chauncy Billups, and both discussed their connection to each of those legends. Lisa and Tina share a long history, dating back to playing together at Morningside High School in Inglewood, California, then on to USC, and representing USA Basketball in the Olympics. They became rivals, then teammates in the WNBA, and I had the honor to document both of their journeys all the way into the Hall of Fame. Two fantastic friends and legendary athletes, it was truly a pleasure to sit down with each of them and chat on this episode. So enjoy, and as always, I'll see you on the backside. Well, I have another great Hall of Famer here at the Legends of Sport podcast, my dear friend, somebody I've known for a long time,
I know,
Lisa
Andy.
Leslie, thank you.
Can you believe it?
How long
Here
have we
we
known each other?
are.
We've known each other since you were at SC.
I was about to say college, right?
In
94.
college.
I don't know, maybe 17, 18 years old, 17?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I used to love coming out and shooting you in college.
Yes.
It was amazing.
You probably have more pictures of me than my mom.
Well, I'm happy to share them.
But they're definitely much better quality for sure.
Well, it's so great to finally catch up to you. I mean, I see you all the time, but we've been chasing you for all this time with the podcast. And finally, we were able to sit down and talk about why you're here this weekend,
Yes.
right? So you're here to present Michael Cooper, right?
Yes.
And let's talk about Coop. Let's talk about what Coop means to you and why he chose you to be a presenter.
Well, you know, Coop I met Coop when I was probably, when did I meet Coop? I think I was in high school also, 16 or 17. I went to one of Coop's camp. I did not like Coop. He was so mean. No. But you know Coop, he's firm, but he's friendly. You know what I mean? Like he makes you laugh, but then he's like, get on the line. Yeah. So I remember going, I don't think I like him, but I enjoyed being at his camp. And, you know, it kind of started there. And then obviously he was on the Lakers. Showtime is where I started watching basketball. So for all of these legends that are here and Magic and James Worthy, everybody knows Big Game James was my favorite. Right. Seeing Michael Thompson, just, oh my gosh, they're all here. Yeah. And it's like romper room. I'm just seeing all of the Lakers, like these are the guys. These are the reason why I played basketball. And so Coop obviously being a part of that legacy Showtime team, you know, I was really blessed to have Coop as a coach. First as an assistant with the LA Sparks, and then him becoming our head coach, winning championships with Coop. You know, listen, I love Coop. We give each other the hardest time just because, you know, we're very competitive.
That's how you know he loves you.
And that's how you know Coop loves you. If Coop's giving you a hard time, you know he loves you. If he's just like high and really kind to you, you're not his person.
So growing up, how many Laker games did you attend as a kid growing up?
Well, I got to give a shout out to Byron Scott because Byron, who went to Morningside High School, was the high school I went to. The Byron giving back to the community, coming back, seeing the boys and girls. He was the first Laker I ever met and the first Laker to invite our high school boys and girls team to a Laker game. Oh. Now, we was up in the nosebleed, but we were there. Yeah. But I think it's just the importance of giving back to the community. I learned based on Byron giving back to the community. That's how I got a chance to get into the Forum. Oh my God, the Great Western Forum. All the memories
just
there.
Just walking in that aura of I remember walking down a little entry, right? Yeah, and then it just opens up to it's the Forum.
Well, how about this? Yeah. Originally, obviously, I entered through a normal, regular, general entrance, but I mean, the fact that I got to a point in my career to enter through the awning that you've seen, like Jack Nicholson enter through, and the late great Dr. Buzz.
I know. Those were the days.
It's a great memory.
So I have a question because you were in the inaugural class, inaugural, I guess, group at the inception of the WNBA in 1997. I was there for the opening tip with you and Val Ackerman throwing up the ball and the whole thing. But as a teenager and loving the game, and you knew obviously you're going to go to college, you're going to play on USA Basketball, but like a lot of your predecessors, you didn't have a professional league to aspire to. did you think you were going to go to Europe, or what was like the next step for you as an athlete?
Well, I think, watching the men play, I was very lucky to get a chance to get to know the Lakers. Magic would allow me to play pickup with them at UCLA all the time, and he'd put me on his team every single time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so just growing up playing ball with the men, I don't think I ever aspired to like play in the NBA. But I knew that I wanted to get to college, which was obviously I got to USC. And then I went overseas. That was the thing that women did in our country, is that if you wanted to continue your basketball career. So I signed a deal with Nike right after my last season, my eligibility at USC. And then I signed a contract to play in Italy, and I lived in Italy for a year.
What city were you in?
I was in Alcamo.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
that.
I was in Sicily.
Okay.
So
I didn't.
I was in Sicily.
Not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I played and lived in Sicily. I played in Alcamo, which is very close to Palermo, is where you fly into. So you got to go Rome, Palermo, to get there. Yeah.
Interesting. So you and Kobe share, having a
of
history
course.
in Italy.
Yeah.
Right, of course. I went to
practiced our Italian.
Yes. Did you speak Italian to him ever?
Yeah, because I lived there. I loved living in Italy.
Yeah, I visited Reggio Emilia, where he grew up and where his dad played.
Yeah.
And there's beautiful murals for him there. It's incredible. So when the WNBA started, because I never asked you this or anybody, what was the initial call? Like, how did you find out it was actually going to happen?
So when the Olympics ended in 1996, I thought I retired from basketball.
Yeah.
I really was like, oh, okay, I'm done. I signed a contract with Wilhelmina Models. I moved to New York, and I was modeling. So when they called about the WNBA, they said it would be in the summer, like a summer league. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll be back in LA. I can play in a summer league. Yeah. And I really thought it was going to be like reversible jerseys. We'd probably play at like Long Beach State or a small community college, a gym.
Sure.
So I was like, yeah, I could do that for a few months. I had not picked up a ball, Andy, since the day we won the gold medal.
That's crazy.
So my first time like preparing for the WNBA was literally like training camp. And then I'm like, I am not really ready to play basketball. We're playing at the Forum. Like, I had no idea that Dr. Buss would have the LA Sparks and have us really, I had the same locker room as the Lakers.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So it was like we got kind of thrust into this really professional league that I was really not prepared for. I was okay, but I was running on fumes.
You were better than okay. But
no. I remember I missed my dunk that first game.
I do.
I was like, you might need to prepare to play. And there were so many stars and, all those lights, cameras, action.
But finally, there was a professional women's league, which is obviously grown and has blossomed and gone crazy the last couple of years, which has got to warm your heart, right? To see the women's game at the level it's at is just incredible.
Listen, they are living out the dreams that we all had always hoped for. Because I believe the product was always good. I don't think that how I played and what they're doing now was any different in terms of my skills and me being able to excel in the WNBA now today. But I love the fact that social media has helped really elevate the game. The eyes, the numbers have clearly gone up, the attention, and it's never going to go back. Women don't have to go overseas to play professional basketball here in our country. And, the numbers are going up. That's going to be the next shift that you're going to start to see these women making, say, 7 figures here in our country.
Be amazing, yes. At least the last thing I want to ask you about is Jerry West. So Jerry is being honored. Unfortunately, the late Jerry West, who we love and adore, as the only person to be enshrined 3 times at the Hall of Fame, which is incredible. Do you have any memories of being around Jerry? Any, words of wisdom? Because I don't know how much the Sparks and the Lakers really crossed paths in those days.
Well, we crossed paths a lot because we practice in the same facilities, even our the practice facility or the same arena. Jerry West was always very kind, soft-spoken, but very sharp. I really liked him a lot. I loved when he was the general manager for the Lakers. And he was always very kind. And I think when you talk about men in basketball versus women's basketball, men who really get it, they just understand it's basketball. And that's what I love most about Jerry West, that he would talk about, how great we're doing and love the way, my footwork in the paint, or just, say comments about how well I was doing personally, which I'm like, oh, wow, Jerry West actually watched me play basketball,
That's awesome.
So I think I have always really admired Jerry West. Obviously, he's the logo.
Yeah.
You can't win on, Y2K without Jerry West. Like, my son is obsessed with everything Lakers, and he was like, Jerry West is the best player to play with. Yeah. But I think he just impacted the game in such a way, like, people don't realize how fierce of a player he was. And because he always seemed so soft-spoken and just in the background and never needing a lot of attention, but he was such a classy guy too. So I'm really lucky that I got a chance to see the Lakers and the organization, up close and personal, just ever since I was a young girl, which is really interesting. Like, I really knew Dr. Buss, you know what I mean? Like, I really, having a relationship with Jeannie Buss, and just, it's just been phenomenal for me. And I've always admired and been really grateful for the experience to be so close to the Laker family.
Well, I appreciate the experience of being close to you on the court for all those years. I just always so much enjoyed shooting you, and all the photo shoots we would do on media day. And remember back in the day, you always wanted to see the Polaroid. Yes,
I still have stacks of those Polaroids I used to take. Right. I'm like, Andy, let me see the picture.
I know.
Just show me.
And I'm like, Lisa, it's a headshot. She's like, I know,
but I need to see it. I know, I'm so weird. But you know what? I need, so they've been talking about possibly putting up a statue, and I need a really good shot of my dunk, I think, from different angles.
But somebody between the two of us wasn't there when you dunked.
I know.
That day.
What's going on?
Yeah, it goes up in the list of the things I didn't attend, like Kobe's 81 game.
Yeah.
And this Vince
what are you doing
Carter's
taking
dunk.
days off?
Yeah. But but Lisa Blumenfeld, God bless her, was there shooting for Getty and did get your dunk.
Yeah.
So that has to be it. Yeah,
All
for sure.
Lisa's got to call me.
I will be there when they put that statue outside crypto. So
Fingers
Lisa,
crossed.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Love
Andy.
you, sweetie. Thank you.
Love
for
you
coming.
too,
You're
and
the
thank you
best.
for blessing us. You've always been so kind.
Thank you.
Well,
you know how much I
really,
love your family.
I know, but just saying, you've just always been so kind,
Thank
and
you.
I really appreciate that.
Thank
You're
you.
a good person. Your family's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, Andy's great, guys.
Thank you. Well, we're here with basketball royalty, another Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinee, 2018, I believe.
Yes,
right?
2018.
Which is the same year that I got my Kurt Gowdy Award, which is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
So welcome, Tina Thompson, to the Legends of Sport podcast. Want to talk today about presenting Chauncy Billups. So we had Chauncy talk about why he asked you to present, but what does it mean to you to be presenting Chauncy?
Well, it means everything. Like, we go through kind of like sport, just being really focused and really intentional about just kind of doing your absolute best and hoping that it leads to winning. But you never know like what it is that you are doing, how it impacts like your colleagues, that more times than not, you hear from like fans or people that you inspired, but we're all kind of moving at the same pace, kind of trying to go in the same direction. So you don't necessarily have like these intimate moments. So, when Chauncy asked me to be one of his presenters, I was going to be here no matter what, because I just absolutely love Chauncy. Like, he's my guy. So I was going to show up for him anyway, but to be able to show up for him in that way, to kind of be on the stage with him and usher him in, it was really emotional for me, but a moment that I'm like proud of and really excited about.
Yeah, that's great. Your careers kind of overlapped, right? You
Yeah,
guys played around the same time. Do you remember seeing him play like in Detroit or at any point going to actually? Yeah.
No, 100%. Like I saw him play like through college. Like we've kind of even intersected like in high school. Like one of his high school teammates was on the men's basketball team at USC. So I've been while I was there, I've been familiar with Chauncy for a very, very long time. So I've pretty much seen his entire career like at moments.
And now he's a coach.
Yes.
And we talked about him taking sort of the pedigree from Larry Brown, who he is also a presenter at the Hall of Fame. Amazing. Let's talk about USC for a second. I'm glad you brought up USC.
Okay.
So has been a resurgence there of women's basketball.
Huge
Juju Watkins
resurgence.
and women's basketball in general. But how does it make you feel seeing the Trojans back on the map?
Oh, it's amazing. But like more than anything, that it's happening through the likes of Juju. She is an amazing young person, and that's probably not a big enough word to describe. Like she's, such a worker and all these things and really talented. Those are the things that like people see, but she's just an incredible human being. So if there was anyone to kind of take us to the next level and bring glory back to the women of Troy, why not her? Like she is the absolute like best choice. Like I adore her so much, and just kind of watching her journey, like us both being native Los Angelinos is like makes it even like greater. But she comes from an awesome family, and she doesn't kind of like see herself the way other people do, which makes it even more amazing. It's just that she loves the game, she shows up, and she tries to do her absolute best, and she's kind, which, in this space, you don't get all of those in one person too often. Yeah.
Interesting. I have to go. I haven't seen her play live, so I have to.
Oh, you have
to go down to Galen and see her play. Last thing I want to talk about was the great Comets dynasty, four-time champion, 4 in a row, right? Are we ever going to see that again in the WNBA? What do you think?
I don't foresee it, but
because you guys are so dominant. I mean, just head and shoulders above everyone else.
Well, I think that the reason why I believe that it would be hard to emulate is because we didn't go into our situation with that intention. A lot of times people are, more often now, people are talking about the super teams and those teams being built and things like that. What people don't know, everyone talks about the end result. They don't talk about like the process. And that Houston Comets team in our inaugural season in 1997 was not even picked to make the playoffs. Like
Surprise.
We were right. So, we knew what we had, but we kind of snuck up on everyone else. And I think that people truly underestimated like what our capabilities were, weren't familiar enough with Cynthia Cooper, neither Janeth or Kane, who I think or thought, still think to this day was the best individual player like on our team, just her level of versatility and just the sacrifice she made, to make our team be as complete like as it was. But it's really hard. Like people might think that it was like easy because like we did it, but like championship 2 was so much harder than number 1. And then 3 even more so because it was so emotional and we lost Kim. Like there were just so many like obstacles. Other people see complete dominance. We see so much more than that.
So a lot of people are talking about a resurgence in Seattle, a new Sonics team in Seattle. I'm going to put out there, I want to see a new a new Comets team in Houston. Why can't there be another franchise in Houston? I mean, or should there be?
I don't think that there is a it totally can be. I don't think the question is why. I think that it should be when. Mr. Fertitta has publicly announced and said it, like not just once, but, a few times or more that he would like to see a WNBA team in Houston. I think that he would be an incredible owner. In the sense that what he's doing with the Rockets and just kind of like changing, the face of that organization. And he's just putting so much intention behind, building that franchise again and putting them back in winning ways that I have no doubt that he would do the same thing with a WNBA team. And the city is ready. Like Houston has been longing for a WNBA team again. I mean, you just won't believe, like, when I go out in the grocery store or I'm just, like, out in Houston, like, with my mom, how many people, like, approach me shaking their head, like, our poor Comets. Like, it's not something that people have gotten over yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can definitely see it, in the future. I think the WNBA has to just decide.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
would love to see it too. So hopefully we'll see it together.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tina, thanks for stopping by. It's so great to see you at Hall of Fame weekend every year. But it's wonderful, and to see you up on stage presenting Chauncy. That's going to be incredible. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well, it was so much fun chatting with Lisa and Tina on this episode. Big thanks to both of them for taking the time during a very busy Hall of Fame weekend. Thanks, everyone, for tuning into this episode and for continuing to support the Legends of Sport podcast. Please tell all your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Legends of Sport. Our Instagram is @Legends of Sport. And, of course, my photography can be found on Instagram @ADB Photo Inc. Big thanks, as always, to our producer, Carlin Barker, and our editors, Sean Gosser and Addison Shao, and everyone who helped us during Enshrinement weekend. Thanks again to you, all our loyal followers, and we'll be back next week with another fun episode right here on the Legends of Sport podcast.